All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And today we got some big topics to talk about. The debate is tonight, all right? And oh man, there's going to be some serious incoming on Bernie Sanders, and this is a lot of people's last stand. Custer had his last stand, which was ultimately doomed, so who's going to be the modern Custer, right? You know,
hopefully it goes
is it going to be Joe Biden? Is it going to be Tom Steyer? You know, this is literally a modern Gallipoli for some of these candidates, okay? And also on top of that, we got a pretty interesting story about some of these Amazon stores popping up. Not quite sure if it looks like the beginning of a post-apocalyptic movie or an ushering in of a futuristic way of doing commerce. We're going to find out. Cody, tell us what's going on, my man.
Okay, cool. So we'll start off going over, like you brought up, the debate is indeed tonight. And I think we were doing our stream last night and someone asked us kind of, who do we expect to go, like, kind of what to expect. And, I'll flash over here. But basically, this is the last debate, obviously, before they vote in South Carolina. But also, South Carolina is the end of the kind of early state process of the primary, which is I don't want to say cheaper and easier, but you're running in 4 states for about 8 months. You're about to have to campaign in 13 states in a week or two if you're going to want to win Super Tuesday. So this was that kind of last moment. And we're seeing Bernie Sanders, of course, emerge as a frontrunner, especially after his, good win in Nevada. I still wonder how strong he actually performed relative to how he's done in the past there. But still, that being said, he won in Nevada. Good for him. We're now seeing, it seems like the playbook's coming out. I'll go through and pull some quotes from this Fox News article. That's why I pulled it up there. Some interesting things being said by campaign aides from a rival campaign, so to speak, about Bernie Sanders. But it does seem that is the strategy. It's going to be everyone's going to come out swinging at Bernie Sanders because he is the front runner. You obviously like I don't think there's anything. I don't think Elizabeth Warren gets anything from slamming Amy Klobuchar in this debate like she did in the last one. Like, hey, Amy Klobuchar's on her way out, so have fun. But check this out. So they go down here and they say, in a blistering attack, an aide from one rival campaign told Fox News on Tuesday that Sanders, quote, will have more to answer for than his love for murderous communist regimes or his broken promise to release his health records. Oof. The aide added, he's also the only candidate who wrote an essay joking about, let's just say, sexual assault of some kind. So it's not good stuff, and they go on to mention what he's talking about here. However, I do want to we were kind of speculating before about which campaign aide. I was saying technically, due to the wording, it could be the Trump campaign, but that is like the kind of Weasley journalist stuff, but they kind of spoil it later in the article. And they say this: Bloomberg is preparing a massive media campaign against Sanders, which will include opposition research, surrogates, and advertisements across multiple platforms. And I wonder if it also includes having your campaign aides release comments to publications like Fox News to write in articles like this. So it seems Bloomberg more or less is probably behind this, which, hey, by the way, that's more evidence I have for Bloomberg than Bloomberg had accusing Bernie Sanders of attacking his, or Sanders campaigners attacking his offices, which I still think he did as well. So anyway, I guess I think Bloomberg's behind everything though, so that's the only problem. Yeah. he spent so much money. It's like he might as well be. Wow, he could have if he wanted to. Anyway, the
only thing though is that a lot of these things that are a little bit dicey, I actually really doubt are Bloomberg, because why would you engage in the underhanded way of handling something when you got so much money you could just buy your way through the problem? You know what I'm saying? It's like Bloomberg's not the guy that's going to be, buying a shirt from Walmart for a job interview and then returning it the next day because he only needed it for one day and he didn't have a lot of money, when he could just go out and buy a nice, custom tailored shirt. So I don't know. I don't know if I think it necessarily would have been. That just seems like a Bernie bro move, man.
But they were saying, for the field offices?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that, like I said, who knows?
No, field offices, but also a lot of this commentary. I just kind of think I've been impressed with Bloomberg's people so far.
But I'm just saying, if Michael Bloomberg has a massive media assault against Bernie Sanders, like, why would it not include calling Fox News and saying, oh, this guy's the worst, we're going to expose him? But anyway, moving on, because that's what I think Bloomberg is going to do. Meanwhile, we have Joe Biden, who... obviously, South Carolina is the last stand for Joe Biden. If he underperforms in what he's been building as a stronghold, it's bad. He recently spent, they mentioned here, $600,000 in digital ad buy in South Carolina, which by most instances would be pretty cool. When Michael Bloomberg's in the race, it kind of tilts things a little bit. But interesting, his line of attack against Bernie Sanders, he's going to be bringing up alleging that Bernie Sanders wanted to primary Barack Obama in 2012. That's a new one. I hadn't heard that one before. The Bernie campaign denies it, but I mean, I would have to go back and try to rack back in 2012 if Bernie was floating, and who knows? That is definitely a new strategy, isn't it? To say that he was trying to, no one brought that up that Hillary tried to do that, or a little bit, but you know what I mean? I don't think that was anyone's I don't think Bernie's campaign strategy was Hillary Clinton tried to primary Barack Obama, but she did, right?
Yeah, and by the way, that would just be a really weak argument. I hope they make it though, because my entire adult life of living history, anything I've done, a conservative's done, a Republican's done, has been called racist. So I just love it when it happens to somebody on the left. You know what I'm saying? Seeing how they'll field that argument that you tried to primary the first African-American president. You know what I'm saying? That kind of BS. It's like, wow, I love it when people have to taste their own medicine. So there's part of me that just, would like to see it. But the only reason I think I'd be against it is because I just view that as a waste of time. I think that's now just falling on deaf ears. These, racist arguments.
But again, I don't think it's necessarily, I think he mentions it as but just the idea that we had a very popular Democratic president and Bernie Sanders thought he should be president instead. That's a pretty effective line of attack, I would say. Now, here's the thing. Bernie Sanders, as far as I know,
an identity politics shill.
It's nothing to do with identity. It's we had a good president, but Bernie Sanders was selfish and thought he should have been president. That has nothing to do with anything like that. Now, again, I don't think there's any proof to what he was saying, but I think it's actually a very interesting way of looking at it. That, hey, this guy thought that he deserved to be president instead of Obama. We already had a president. He was a fine one. That was the argument he's making, and I kind of think that's a decent one. Again,
sure.
It's a better argument against Hillary Clinton.
It's better than just taking incoming. Yeah, of course.
But anyway, then we have Pete Buttigieg, who is going to definitely, it looks like, hammer Bernie Sanders on his recent Castro comments, which he hasn't backed away from. And then one of the weird things, too, I'm seeing with this, is a lot of this people are turning into this greater commentary about Cuba and modern Cuba. Bernie Sanders was speaking specifically about Castro. People can say, oh, well, Cuba, they do better stuff now. It's yeah, but and we're seeing it here. Buttigieg is bringing up. It's not the fact that, Bernie's endorsed some nebulous idea of Cuban communism. It's well, no, he was speaking specifically about the individual Fidel Castro who did do things. So I think that's something we're going to hear brought up more again. Is I hope it's kept to that, because some weird nebulous argument Bernie Sanders endorsed everything communist ever done in Cuba. He's a Cuban communist. That's weird, but Bernie Sanders didn't strongly condemn an individual who killed people. That's, again, that feels more like a kind of fair argument, right? That it's well, Bernie, throw out the whole, are they really communists or all that stuff? It's Fidel Castro was a bad dude who did awful things. It's not kind of fair to say, well, he had a literacy program. It's well, I guess, but, a lot of people done a lot of things. It's not necessarily a cover. Now, here's what I want to hear more about, and they have less on it. I want to hear what Amy's going to bring up. I think Amy Klobuchar is bringing up the idea of this is it. They're going to go out swinging. Tom Steyer missed the last debate, and he knows he has to. I'll see if I'll show you the polls in a second. But Tom Steyer needs to win, maybe not outright, but he has to be 20% plus competing to win South Carolina to justify staying in the race. One of the weird things about him being a billionaire, he has the option of just saying, to hell with it, I'm going $500 million in the red and pushing through. Bernie Sanders, he's raising money, he can keep it. Elizabeth Warren can't just kind of say, whatever, to hell with it, I'm going to my piggy bank, getting another $200 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Steyer being a billionaire, he can, so he does really want to perform well here, but it's still a little bit of a Hail Mary for both him and then Amy Klobuchar not doing well.
The other thing is there's so many, this is a great comment right here that says you've got candidates, you've got super PACs all piling on to stop Bernie Sanders. We haven't even really seen the super PACs go nuts yet.
Well,
once they get involved.
But I think part of them, too, is Bloomberg also represents a lot, because what used to be super PAC money is just Bloomberg's personal money now, right, too? So that kind of adds to it.
That's true, too. But, Bloomberg, he's probably the biggest game in town when it comes to that kind of money, but he's not the only game in town.
He is calling people and telling them, though, just to say, hey, don't donate to anyone.
Yeah, just sit it out this time.
Yeah, because I have the money.
I got this handle. Just sit it out. Yeah, that's true. That's one of the commentaries that Andrew Yang offered on his very, very first day that kind of took that whole panel by surprise. Like, oh, wait, this is real insider information. We're used to just bloviating our BS and calling it real. But wait, what? You know something we didn't know? You know?
Sources familiar have told us. Oh,
yeah,
great.
Exactly. So, dude, I got to tell you, I think this is going to be a massive thinning of the herd.
Oh, of course. South Carolina, big time. Everyone's all in on it. And again, not only is everyone all in, it's become to the point. And again, I'll show you guys the CNN.
Well, who do you think's toast?
I think. I honestly want to see that. I mean, it's kind of the cop out. Like, well, you're gonna have to see. Hey, when anything can happen between the lines. But I do feel like it's gonna depend on what happens in the debate. I think Elizabeth Warren, she raised a couple $1 million. I don't want to say an exact number. I don't know, but a couple $1 million off the back of her last debate performance. I think people who are toast are people who have bad debate performances, don't raise money, and perform bad in South Carolina. Who I think that could be? Pete Buttigieg. I think Pete Buttigieg is weird, but Pete Buttigieg definitely could be on the ropes. He was very late when it came to doing Super Tuesday ad buys. He came in very late with the Super Tuesday ad buys. Does that mean anything? Is it just a infrastructural, it took him longer to get to it than other people? I hope not, because every day counts when you're running for president, but he was late to the party, so maybe they just got some internal data that will do it okay in South Carolina. The only problem is South Carolina feels like a state he's going to underperform in, because Tom Steyer, legitimately could be second place or even have an outside shot. Show me the Vegas odds. I might put money on Steyer winning South Carolina. He's done good enough. He's receded a bit lately, but on the back of a strong enough debate, he's performed well enough in polls out there where I think he really could do something. Because I forgot who it was. Someone on CNN kind of joked, and it is true, but Tom Steyer's basically been running to be president of South Carolina for the last 6 months. He has been on the streets, but it's working. He's getting to people. He's reaching people.
No, I get it. He's doing
legitimately
good.
Gaining a following there. So it's a big one. So I think he has more reason to hang in than others, but I definitely
here's my question for you.
Amy is on the ropes. Sorry, I just want to answer. Amy's on the ropes. And Warren is on the ropes, as well as Buttigieg. All three of them, South Carolina plus this debate, mean everything to their campaign, and then Biden as well. I mean, I think
it's pretty funny that you said on the ropes. As a WWE fan, I see that your reference is being caught up and backed up against the ropes.
Well, I think more boxing in that
sense. My historical erudite person said this is their last stand, referencing Custer's last stand, right? So I just think, a little bit was illustrated there. We drew distinction, as all of the candidates say.
But there's a difference between the two as well, because when you can be on the ropes temporarily. It's hard to be temporarily making your last stand. Your final stand tends to be the end, where, like in a boxing match, you could be on the ropes for a round or so, but then you can find yourself back in the fight.
So you think those guys are going to be, quote, on the ropes?
Here's the thing. What I mean by that is, if Pete Buttigieg somehow blows people away at the debate, raises a bunch of money, performs not that great, but gets third.
Dude,
in South
look at
Carolina,
all the microphones on his tie. Holy crap!
I know it's like when you see again, to use a sports reference, the guys in the locker room with 40 iPhones being held in front of his face. I love we've got to the point now where there's 30 lav mics just on your tie. It's hope you tied it well, dude. We're weighing it down with a
Yeah, that's some gnarly stuff. So look, here's my question.
Again, though, you notice they said to keep focused. Everyone's going to be attacking Sanders. Going long, but if Buttigieg comes out, has a barn burner against Sanders, performs a little bit better in South Carolina, all of a sudden he has a plan for Super Tuesday, right? If the inverse happens and he fumbles on his face, raises no money, and then gets fifth place blown out in South Carolina, he's done. That is the kind of line these campaigns are walking on.
Okay. So we all know, and now you said, okay, this is what I think will happen, but you qualified it saying we won't know until the debates are over. I want to see the data. I can't really think of a debate performance that made somebody's career, but I can think of debate performances that ended somebody's career. There was the famous moment between Reagan and Walter Mondale in which he made the age joke that was pretty much just the end of Walter Mondale. Well, there's famously poor performances that have kind of really just made it so that somebody can't be considered, a candidate to be taken seriously in the future. But if you're going to say that a lot of the performance in South Carolina is dependent upon these debates, I don't know. I can't think of a debate that really put somebody over, to use the wrestling terminology.
What I meant to say, is the debate, I think, is really important for mainly fundraising. Like for example, I want to show you this.
Okay, and then you think it's the
Fundraising
results of the fundraising and the
plus
ad
the
buys that are going to make them go up. Okay,
Because here we go. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, who was, I don't want to say having fundraising issues. She's raising okay for this campaign. Not a front runner, but like okay. She raked in $5 million on the back of that really strong Vegas debate. And I think money is right now
But how pathetic is that?
Number
Like,
one issue
that
for the
is
campaign.
literally 1 second's worth of pay for Bloomberg, or 1 minute's worth of pay.
He skews it big time. He does. He makes it really,
like
really
$5
hard
million
to-
is nothing for him. He gave $5 million to Katie Hill the week before the election. It was like 4.3 or something absurd like that.
Everyone got about $4 million package from Bloomberg. Yeah, he just kind of dropped $4 million on various campaigns all throughout the country. Though,
Yeah, there was about 20 Democrats
there
he
was
just gave $4 or $5 million to. One of them got 6 in California. So like, I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, wow. So Warren, in a function of weeks.
No, that was a couple days.
Or sorry, no, yeah, you're right. In a function of a couple of days, is stoked about raising $5 million, while Bloomberg literally can do that in a couple of minutes.
Bloomberg can pay people.
Is that
$7
even a
million,
competition?
yeah. Well, it's tough, but it's one of those things. Like, you can't even. Everyone's so far behind in money to Bloomberg, they can't even really gauge their money to his. It's just having enough for yourself. So again, I think that's why I think tonight's debate could have some impact, is trying to get a short-term boost of money, and then also that kind of it just helps you, because it's not like the money then gets put. They don't put this money in the bank. You know what I mean? It's in ads. Maybe they open up field offices. It helps you to continue to campaign, and it could help you, like a Buttigieg, for example. It could help him hit a not great South Carolina performance, but have that money to keep rolling to Super Tuesday. Because think about it. If you're basically out of money and then you get wrecked in South Carolina, who's going to give you money to run more? It's like your campaign's over at that point. So these campaigns need to get some cash on hand, or, at least have some money in hand from the debate. So I think that's where I see the most significance in this. But
anyway, let us know what you guys think. Please comment below. If you haven't had a chance to like this video, make sure you like the video. Follow us on Twitter at PSP Radio 1. And if you can, please join the channel. Consider joining. It's really an inexpensive way to make sure that we keep bringing you these videos without any corporate sponsorships. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next video.